My hat! I have three VTA bodies I'm going to compare. One of them is a Protoform, so this is the Protoform. And they're all Mustangs, so this is the 1968, if I'm not mistaken. Yep, 68, says it right there. 1968, it's a little beat up. I've run this quite a bit. Now the driver, if I were to remove the driver, I would lose 13 grams. And the tape, I'm going to use this tape, which is approximately the same amount of tape holding that front end, because this breaks easily. They're beautiful bodies though. This one is gorgeous. So if I set this down, I'm at 137, 138. I don't think the camera is showing it. I can try moving this. Hopefully the number appears through the window. And I don't think it is. But it's 138 grams. And if I put the tape on, we're looking at 143. So there's about 5 grams of tape on this car. So if we minus the 5 and the 13, that's 18 grams. So if we minus the 18 grams, this body is about 120 grams. Now keep in mind that's 120 grams painted. So all of the weights that I give you are going to depend on the amount of coats that you use of paint. Now, just in case, somebody out there, disclosure, yes, I'm using grams. That's actually mass and not weight, because weight is a force. But I'm going to use those terms interchangeably. So that's the Protoform. Now, this body here, this one's actually brand new. And this is the McAllister body. This McAllister body is actually really nice. It's a little boxier, not as detailed as the Protoform. So if you look at the bumpers, right, it's very boxy and squared. It's a good thing they used the 1969 because that one has a very square rear end, so I guess it fits. This looks more like a NASCAR style, to be honest, but it's VTA. It's labeled as VTA, sold as VTA. But here we go. This is nice. 98 grams. So this one's just under 100 grams, and that's fully painted and reinforced in the rear. So you'll notice these here. So I add a little bit of double-sided tape. Well, this is a Gorilla really thin double-sided tape. It looks like duct tape, but it's double-sided. And I put a reinforcement piece of Lexan here. The reason why is the rear posts are very good for taking impacts and not allowing this to get into the wheel well, and then you get body tuck. But once in a while, if the impact's hard enough, the Lexan will actually crack break, and then this thing will just go in there and it'll just get stuck. So that's the reason why. So this is the McAllister body right here, and it ships really fast. The only so if you order McAllister bodies, don't get scared. They're going to come with a white film instead of a translucent film. Most bodies come with a translucent film. Now, I don't know how long that's going to be, and the reason why is their supplier made a mistake and used the wrong film. So that's the reason why you're going to get them with a white film. So let me go ahead, before I talk about the HPI, let me go ahead and show you what I mean. So just like this, it's going to come in a white film. But once you remove the film, it's still, the material is still translucent, just like that one. This body here, this is a gorgeous body. This is a 1970. 1970 is actually my favorite Generation 1 Mustang. Out of them all, it's the 1970. If you say, well, 69's the same, that one's cooler. Or, well, they're not the same, and it's a free country. You can think the other one is cooler as well. There are differences. So for example, this one over here, it should have some scoops. Well, I don't know if all of them have scoops, but usually there's some scoops, little tiny scoops on the sides. This one does not have. But anyway, let me just show you side to side and you can notice the detail. 1969 and 1970 essentially they're the same car with some minor changes. So the bodywork should be very, very similar. The front end, I mean, Ford put the headlights a little farther in versus the other one, but you can see the difference in the detail. I mean, just look at the bumper. So the McAllister is definitely a lighter body, but I'll talk about that later on. I mean, this is the HPI, this is a McAllister, and the rear ends should be almost identical, given the model years. But let's go ahead and weigh this. And this one's 130, 131. We can say 130 if we minus the dirt, right? Because there's a lot of it. So that's one of the things to keep in mind. If weight on the body is concerned, this one's a much heavier body. It's also thicker. So this is a thicker Lexan. I don't have the measurement. This is a 30. McAllister also makes a 25. Usually the 30 is recommended for on-road. The 35 is recommended, sorry, the 25 is recommended for carpet. So there's two. There's a 30 and a 25. So I'm saying those numbers in reverse order. This one's a multi-piece. So the rear end, this rear end is a separate piece right down here, the lower part. Well, and the wing as well, of course. And this body, if you're running VTA, it is legal to run the wing. The wing is part of the original body. That's the reason why. So let's go into details. This body right here by Protoform, to be honest, it is gorgeous, detailed. If you look at the rear fenders, I mean, that's really where you can tell. The door, if you look at the doors, it's wonderful. Nothing really too special about the wing compared to some of the other ones. The rear end, the indentation, the fuel cap just pops out. It's not flush. Those are some of the things that you will notice. I really dislike the stickers for all the companies, except for HPI. Wait, no. I'm trying to remember if I had to cut them for HPI. I'll check in a bit. But I really dislike cutting stickers. Now this one here, this one's very fragile. I mean, the whole front bumper is cracked, broken, and split. So anything that you hit, you're going to start cracking it. Usually it starts breaking here, right on the side for this body. That's what generally happens. So it'll break somewhere here. You might get a break there, but every single body that I've had like this always breaks right on the bumper, right on that line. See, both sides are like that. But the detail, I mean, these are just beautiful. So Protoform bodies are simply beautiful bodies. The HPI, by far, I think this is the most gorgeous. The detail on this is, I mean, just wonderful. Now, keep in mind, the 68 Mustang had more detail. I mean, the real car has more detail on the doors and the rear fenders compared to the 1970. So this would be the Boss 302. Here we go. Now, my favorite is actually the Mach 1. So that would have been a 351 instead of a 302. But it doesn't matter. Here we go. Here's the body. And the stickers are really nice. The decals are beautiful. But this is a car. Now, if we look at the McAllister, I would say this is definitely a racing body and not really for show or bashing. It is a thinner material. Now, the roof is very thick. All the thickness is here and on the hood. But once you get to the sides, the way the Lexan stretches, this is as thin as can be. This is very, very thin. So the sides are incredibly thin. The front bumper is really thin compared to everything else. I mean, the roof, I mean, I'm squeezing that with quite a bit of pressure. It's not bending or collapsing. And you can see HPI is simply thicker all around. So this one, same thing. But if you look at the sides, I mean, the sides are also thicker. Now, it's normal for Lexan bodies to thin out as they stretch, so don't be surprised, but even this one's thicker. So that's one of the things you're going to get with the McAllister. McAllister, you're going to get a lighter body, and it's going to be thinner here on the sides, which, to be honest, won't matter so much. I'm looking forward to running this one and see where it starts cracking. But if I had to take a wild guess, if you get hit in the rear, it's probably going to start cracking right here. Usually when you have these sharp edges, this is where bodies start to crack. The front end, because it's not as detailed as the Protoform, I think it'll probably last. It could probably take a beating. Then again, when you're racing, your goal is to not crash. If you say your goal is to win, you're right, but one of the ways that you do it is by not crashing. So here we go. So these are the bodies. Again, if we look at sort of a general weight, this one's about 98 grams as is. This one, if I were to minus the tape and the driver, we would probably be at about 120. And this one right over here, we're over 130. Definitely a heavy body compared to the other ones. So if you're a Mustang fan and you're planning on doing VTA, these are some of the bodies that you can look into. And even if you're not a Mustang fan, it doesn't matter. Protoform, McAllister, and HPI make bodies for different cars of the era. McAllister, if you're a fan of Trans Ams, not the Trans-American cars, I mean, these are Trans Am cars, but I'm referring to the actual Pontiac Trans Am Firebird, or Firebird Trans Am. The Trans Am, they make a beautiful, beautiful body that's a one-piece, as opposed to the one with the, you know, the clip in the front that you attach. And it's a beautiful car. It's a 70, I don't remember, I want to say 72, but I could be wrong. I would have to check. But that's something to check out. So these are all made in the US. I'm not sure where the Lexan is from, to be honest, but the bodies are made in the US. They're from Missouri. That's where McAllister is stationed. So shipping wasn't too bad. For me, it just took a few days. I don't remember when I ordered this. I want to say I ordered this 4 days ago, and I have the body. But there you go. So if you're interested in VTA, especially Mustang bodies, these are some of your options, and all three of them are quite gorgeous. It just depends on your taste and what the purpose for the body is. Shelf queen, bashing, or racing. Well, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this video was informative, or at least entertaining. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.
What? Oh, my hair! My tongue! My rod!